This episode and every episode of the Beer Guys Radio Show is brought to you by Ironmonger Brewing. Visit Ironmonger at their tap room in Marietta, Georgia, or online at ironmongerbrewing.com.
Open up a tab, grab a seat, and pour a pint. It's time for the Beer Guys Radio Show.
You want free beer? Go to the brewery.
Dedicated to the art, science, and enjoyment of craft beer.
Yo, what's wrong with the beer we got?
Now, here are your hosts, Tim Dennis and Brian Hewitt.
Welcome to the Beer Guys Radio Show. We're broadcasting from the Beer Guys Radio Studios in Marietta, Georgia. And this week we're talking beer and music with Tim Very of Manchester Orchestra.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm very well. Thank
Good,
you for
man.
having me.
Good,
He's
absolutely.
very well.
Thanks for yes.
He went right
Teased
there.
Tim very well.
I'm glad you got that out of the way.
Absolutely. Well, I am Tim as well, and I'm doing well. I'm Tim Dennis. With me as always, my good friend and co-host Brian Hewitt and the Becky Smalls.
Hello, hello.
How y'all doing this week?
Doing well. So, Tim, as you said, we have Tim Very. He's the drummer for Manchester Orchestra. He's joining us in studio. He is here with us, which is great. We're going to get into some drinking beers, talk about them, and also the trend of collaborating beers and bands and all that. We've seen a lot of that. And what's in the works for Manchester Orchestra? So, Tim, thank you for joining us.
Pleasure to be here. This is kind of my ideal night. I'm sitting around talking and drinking. So
Yeah.
Hard to beat that, isn't it, man?
It really
It's
is.
good stuff, absolutely. And we started off with something real light for you, a very popular local
What do we
beer,
got here?
Weller Whiskey.
Yeah, Weller Reserve.
So far,
Right.
I'm loving it.
Yeah.
Lager of the Lakes.
Yeah, we got a Bell's here. Brian, I think this is one you picked up.
Yes,
Bell's Lager of the
Bohemian
Lakes.
Pilsner, Lager of the Lakes.
Yeah.
I don't know that I've had it before now, but we are into those crispy boys. So.
Crispy Boys.
Yeah.
And you guys always drink like this while you do the show, right?
Oh,
we
absolutely.
have to.
Yeah, it's
so
a requirement.
as the show goes on, it just gets better.
Fourth
It's
segment.
the fourth segment
It's
is what we
amazing.
call it.
Like
Yes.
segment
Well known
4,
for that.
everyone's like,
Yeah.
yes.
It's actually in our contract that we have to drink, but the thing is I wrote his contract and he wrote mine, so it was pretty good. We could put what we wanted to in
Exactly.
Force
Yeah.
each other to take shots and stuff. if
Yes.
you want
And that's
to.
why
Yeah.
I've never shaved this beard. I'm
Yeah.
contractually obligated to keep growing
It's a
it.
there.
fantastic
Tim,
beer.
I think
Thank
you
I just
trimmed
shaved
yours a
mine
little
down.
bit, haven't you?
It's been, when it gets to the point that my mustache is getting in my mouth while I'm trying to eat,
Okay.
that's when I hit the roof and I just go, all right.
I know that feeling,
Yeah.
and it's probably best that you did because we'd get too close together and be a Velcro effect, and we would not be able to be parted. I'd have to go on tour with you. I mean, it wouldn't be terrible. I do have a lot of beer, so that I do have a few benefits of being
That's
around
right.
me. So
I would always be drinking. It would be
exactly,
awesome.
Yeah.
it would be amazing.
It would make it hard to drum, though, I think.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's I've seen the video where you play just you doing the drums for the gold.
Yes.
And I get winded watching you do that, so I think I might get thin just being around him
Just
playing the drums.
By
yeah.
association there, huh?
Yeah, I think so. I think
If you see him creeping up towards you and putting his beard out, you know what he's,
Right.
you know what he's
I
trying
know
to
what
do.
you're after.
Yeah. Well, Brian, we had a little quick turnaround this week in the
Yes.
studio to work the schedule. Tim, I know you're busy out there
Appreciate
rocking and
it.
rolling,
I
so we
appreciate it.
appreciate you joining us.
Yeah.
And so we don't have a whole lot to talk about this week, but we did recently. We had a meetup here at our studio/brewery, local
Yes.
podcast, the Podcast Atlanta group, met up at Ironmonger Brewing. We got to show off our studio to some other podcasters, meet some folks doing not sailing shows, and
that's right, not saying
and a mime podcast.
the mime. I was curious about that. Mimes and podcasting. That
Yeah.
doesn't seem like that would go together.
Well, he's a
but it
mime
seems
that
to
talks.
Okay.
Brian.
Oh,
So,
well, all right.
Interesting.
Well
Yeah,
then.
yeah. But cool group there. So we had a
Yes.
good time with that. Shared some good beers. I think we got into we dipped into the hard bottles a little bit last night.
We
didn't
did. Yes, we got into some of that Weller. We got into some of the
Nolet
ASW,
gin.
the Nolet gin.
Some gin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We went all over the place
did
with
okay.
the whiskey
We
and
did
the,
okay.
the
You guys had
spirits.
fun.
We had a
We
little,
did.
You had
a
some
little fun
fun.
time there. We did, man. We had a good time. So, Tim, how about you? How's this week going for you, sir?
It's going really good. We just recently, you kind of caught me at a good time for Manchester World. We just got back from Asheville, North Carolina last week.
Cool. Good beer town there.
Yes, yeah, big brewery place. And that's where we've found ourselves going for writing on the last record, and now this one again was Asheville. So
Okay.
yeah, it's been good. I'm kind of basically, I get this last little breath before we start diving back into recording full time, and then right after that we jump into a tour, 10-year anniversary tour. So it's about to get pretty busy for us. I'm kind of just we got this like last week to enjoy, and then from here on out, it's going to start getting a little wild.
Do as much sitting down and drinking and talking as you
Yes.
can for now.
Yeah,
right?
so this is perfect timing.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
So what were some of your favorite breweries in Asheville? I mean, you get up there a fair amount. Do you have a couple that you hang out at?
There's this place we always wind up at called. Why am I blanking?
I'll put you on the
it?
spot.
Yeah. It's called.
Should I just guess like Green Man or
It's
Burial?
Wicked
going,
Weed.
keep
It's
going,
It's
keep
Wicked
going.
Weed, probably.
Wicked Weed is great, and they also have really good food. So we always find ourselves.
I've never eaten there.
It's
I
right-
have it.
That's
is.
the place
It's
right
pretty
next
good.
to Georgia Theater, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a great establishment.
That's Creature Comforts.
Oh, I'm thinking of her in Asheville. Yeah,
next
they
to
have
the
new
Georgia
one here.
Theater.
Next to Georgia, no, next to that's the Asheville Theater there.
I don't know. I'm not sure what the Asheville one
It's
is.
called the Orange something.
I'm trying to think
Yeah,
back. 'cause
it's
The
right
Orange
there
Peel.
on the corner.
Isn't it called the Orange Peel? Goodness, I'm blowing it right now.
Yeah.
But,
It's okay.
but yes, that's where Wicked Weed is, right next to it, and I love going there.
Okay.
You can kind of get some of those like 10%, 12% beers in you. Just start feeling
That's right.
loopy.
Drinking beers.
That's
Two
right.
beers.
Just sessionable.
Yeah.
Easy drinking.
Smalls, what's been up with you this week?
Oh, I've been home, but I've had to do the clearing of the fridge. My beer
okay.
collection was taking up too much space, so we're going through a lot of Georgia beer, temperates. Basically, I had to make room for food.
And more beer,
And
right?
more beer,
That's right.
yes,
Okay.
more beer,
All right,
yes.
good deal.
Well, Tim, I think it's time we talk about the beers of the week.
Crack open a cold one. It's the Truck and Tap Beer of the Week. Craft beer and food trucks in downtown Woodstock. Truckandtap.com.
As I mentioned with our guests, we're drinking beers. We're drinking and talking drinking beers. Tim and Tim
Yes.
drinking beers.
Mhm.
Okay, so it sounds good. We are into the bells right now that you got, the Lager of the Lakes, Bohemian Pilsner. We've got something I found out, Brian. Finding lager Pilsner beers not from your local brewery is a little tricky. There's not a ton that go into distribution.
Yeah.
Drink local
Yeah.
has really
Drink
taken
local,
off,
especially
so,
for those kinds
yeah.
of beers. But non-local, we do have some Sierra Nevada, Sierra Vesa. We've got the Bells. We also have Cigar City,
Yes.
Tampa beer. And we have Arches, some local one, Arches, Lloyd's Light, Bohemian Riot, Line Creek Maverick. And from a Sweetwater, we have Guide beer. So I think we've got some more, Brian, but that's a pretty good set.
There is so many. I mean, that's going to cover it all. I think you said, did you say Sierra Vesa? I just
I
wanted
did.
to say Sierra Vesa.
Vesa, you just wanted to say
I just
that
want to
out
say
there.
it. I'm amused by the name, so that's part of the reason I picked it up. I don't think I've had that one.
Do you want to say it one more time so we
Sierra
can move
Vesa.
on? Good deal. So,
All right.
Brian, what's happening this week in the news?
What's in the news? The beer guys have the scoop.
Extra, extra, read all about it.
Time for headlines.
Okay, so as you probably know, Oktoberfest is in full swing right now. Saturday the 21st of September was the official beginning of the 186th Oktoberfest in Munich, and that probably goes without saying. It's a really crowded affair. People were lined up before the festival opened that first day at 9 a.m. They were in line before 9 a.m. for German beers, which is crazy, but when you think about it, no hazy, boys.
No hazies over there.
Maybe
Well, a
halves.
half, right?
Yeah, maybe
Sure.
halves.
Yeah.
So it was so crowded that some tents were not allowing people in if they did not have a reservation. So other interesting tidbits: they're expecting 6 million people, to attend before it ends. There's 600 police officers on duty, 50 doctors, and in a sensible move, e-scooters are not allowed on the grounds. But my very favorite tidbit is that Paris Hilton continues to be permanently banned from the festival in Munich.
I did not know this.
I did not know this either. I just found it out. Apparently, she was misbehaving, trying to promote a brand of wine in 2006 without permission, dressed very scantily. They got mad, and they threw her out, and she's been banned ever since.
Way to go,
So,
Paris.
right? Our next story has become a bit of a mini-series at this point with a lot of drama, a lot of arcs. A guy with a need money for beer sign went viral and raised over $1 million for charity. Started as a joke. He's just a college football fan. He's holding up a sign that says Busch Light Supply needs replenished. On it, he had a Venmo account. So money started pouring in. He quickly decided he would donate all the funds to the University of Iowa Stead Family Children's Hospital, and Busch Beer and Venmo heard about it. And they're like, we're going to donate too. We'll match. So as an added bonus, Busch was going to give the guy a year supply of beer with his face on it. And but then there was a sudden turn. He had some racially insensitive tweets
Old
in his
racial
history.
tweets, yeah.
They were dug up, and then he got discredited, and then Busch Light separated from him. And then the person who reported on it also had offensive tweets in their background, and they're getting investigated. So
The
it's
call's
been
coming from inside the house.
exactly. So a bit of a drama, a bit of a roller coaster,
Okay.
Tim.
Crazy stuff, Brian. We are listening to the Beer Guys Radio Show. We do need to take a break, but we will be back very soon to talk drinking beers with Tim Very of Manchester Orchestra.
Have you ever thought about owning your own brewery but don't know what it takes to get one built? We're Storytime Construction, and we build breweries. We're Georgia's most experienced and hands-on contractors when it comes to building new breweries and tap rooms, or expanding existing breweries. We offer full build-outs, remodeling, and additions, as well as consulting and construction management. Give us a call at 770-733-4343. Storytime Construction. We build breweries.
Follow the Beer Guys on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
The numbers all go to 11.
Does that mean it's louder?
Well, it's one louder, isn't it?
Now, back to the Beer Guys Radio Show.
Welcome back to the Beer Guys Radio Show. If you miss an episode, don't worry. All episodes are available as a podcast. Subscribe on your favorite podcasting app and never miss a show. Now let's get back to drinking beers with Tim Very from Manchester Orchestra.
Woohoo!
So, Tim, we're drinking here. We're on to our next one. We got a little Georgia love here. Creature Comforts Brewing out of Athens, Georgia.
It's very good.
We are currently sipping their Classic City Lager, which is my go-to at home. I always keep some of this in the fridge. And we've talked this a little bit off the air, but to kind of recap, when you're touring, when you're out there and you're rock and rolling and banging the drums, what kind of beer do you typically go for when you're out on the road?
Yeah, you kind of nailed me when I walked in here. Like,
Okay.
you seem like you're a lager, pilsner kind of guy.
All right.
Mainly because I got to keep my act together, man, before I get out on that stage. So I can't have like a stout that's like 11 point. I mean, we just played this a brewery show, Brewdog. You know Brewdog?
Brewdog, sure.
yeah.
Columbus, Ohio.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
It was so fun, and they treated us so well. They had a couple beers, these craft beers, and one of them was what was it called? But it was black. It was 11.5%, and halfway through it, I felt like
Just got to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you just
Okay.
So I was like, I can't drink too many of those, or I'm not going to be able to play in time, and that's not great.
I could see. We can
Yeah.
barely speak in time.
That's
when we
right.
get to drinking too much, so I get it. Now, when you're touring, do you guys go out and visit breweries in the local areas? Do you try and get out to the breweries?
We do, especially the food, obviously,
Sure.
It's always a motivator if the brewery's got good food as well. So yeah, we'll definitely go do some of that kind of stuff. And it seems like a lot of breweries are getting smart on bringing bands in and kind of collaborating, partnering up. And so we've had that starting to pop up a lot now where we're getting offers from all these different breweries around, and it's just the perfect mix, man. Especially about 10:30 when we're going on and everyone's been drinking for a good.
Yeah, it's a party,
Yeah,
right?
that's when I want my music.
And
yeah.
man,
That's
we
it.
feel awesome right now. These
Yeah.
people love us. No, they've been drinking for 6 hours.
Whatever.
Oh,
Whatever.
no.
So
If it's got a
it's
good
both.
beat,
It's
a good
both,
groove.
So in addition to collaborating on beers with bands, there's been an explosion of, and I maintain an events calendar,
Yeah.
an explosion of live music at breweries. It's
Yeah.
kind of a given thing. You can't even track them all. Like every night of the week, there's a different brewery has a live act performing. So that's really tied in right now.
There's a
Absolutely.
brewery down in LaGrange, Georgia, Wild Leap Brewing.
Yes.
Which they actually put in the amphitheater, like in their brewery or out in their patio
right
area.
next
so
to it.
I think it's like a 600 or 700 seat, but
Yeah.
for having some live bands out there, they're
Festivals
ready to
and
go.
things. Yeah.
Are you guys on some sort of like brewery hotline or something where how do you find out about all the new hot breweries that are hitting
The best
scene?
thing to do is to spend way, way too much time for like 4 or 5 years of your life digging it up.
Being beer people.
Yeah, and then we get to a point where people let us know. They want to let us know because we spread the word and that, and then we just do a lot of Googling and bugging people, find out as much as we can about it.
I love it.
Yeah.
Proactive.
Yeah, sooner or later we wind up on everybody's mailing list, or Tim does, really.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
We did last year. We did a mission. Brian and I set out on
Yeah.
a mission. We visited every single brewery and brew pub in the state of Georgia. So and
That's
at the-
amazing.
Yeah, at the
How
time
many was
like,
it?
Like 85, I
80.
think, and now we're at like 107. So that's just in what, 9 months. And we've got
And
like
there's been
20
a couple
more.
that's closed too.
Right.
So, I mean,
That's
Exa-
true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's all
Yeah.
setting us on. But we went around and
Top 3. Throw them out right now.
Oh, geez. Yeah.
Creature Comforts.
Creature Comforts.
Hell yeah.
Boy.
3 taverns.
Yeah, 3 taverns. I like Orpheus.
I do like
See,
Atlanta Brewing Company a lot.
3's tough
I mean,
for me,
It's
Tim.
very tough.
It's
I guess I have
because
to open it up to 5.
a Creature, yeah, because
Monday
it-
night.
Well, it really
Yeah.
starts to get to where there's some ties for and I'm not
I
even
love
sure.
Cherry Street, too.
Cherry
Yeah.
Street,
Variant.
Atlanta Brewing, Monday Night Brewing, 3 taverns.
You got to throw Sweetwater in there somewhere. Right?
I love
Oh,
Sweetwater.
yeah,
There-
the
that's
new,
just
uh,
class. That's just Georgia,
Yeah.
man.
That's
That's
Georgia.
just Atlanta.
Yeah.
You got
Pure
to.
Georgia
Yeah.
right there.
And
Yeah.
they're cool people. Have you been to the new tap room up there?
Is that where they have all the old wooden?
Well, they rebuilt it
over
and
at the
put a
Woodlands,
restaurant and stuff in it.
I don't know if
So,
I've been there
Yeah,
since
it's
the
fairly
restaurant.
new. But
Okay.
So they've got big open patio, sliding glass door, so it's a big open, and the food's tasty.
Yeah.
They've got-
Giant
I'm
central bar, a lot easier to get a beer.
It's really
just
nice.
really open. It's a
awesome.
really nice place to hang out. I think the place you're thinking about is the Woodlands, where they have the
Yes.
giant oak tanks, the
Yes.
big fooders.
Yes.
That's still open. That's a beautiful place
Yeah, it
too.
is.
That's where
That's
the
where
more
they're-
experimental things are
Mhm.
happening.
It's like, here's this plum. I don't know what's in it, but they're doing some experimental stuff.
A sour saison fermented with wild yeast.
There we go.
Aged in
There
a
we
brandy
go.
puncheon, right?
That's what I wanted
that's
to
it.
somewhere along the way, then put into a tequila barrel, which frequently happens.
Keep it
Has
going.
happened a few times. So
I don't know if I'm jumping the gun, but we did a collaboration with last year with
The Gold, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
the Gold
okay.
beer. So we got to go down there and see their whole facility, which is cool enough in itself, just the operation and the level that they're on now, especially when they talked about starting it on such a small level, and now it's this gargantuan staple of
did you get to
Georgia.
pull any levers when you were there?
Is that
haul any
pulling your own
hoses
beer?
around? Yeah. Oh no, I meant
For
actually
the
with
brewing,
the brewing.
did you
yeah.
did you get hands on with the brew?
No. Well, I got to dump like the hops and
There you go.
That's good
and
enough.
stuff,
That's
that
good
kind of thing.
enough.
But mostly, Nick was the head brewer there, and I just kind of watch him do his
Nick
thing.
Knock?
Yes.
You work with Nick
Yeah,
Knock on
he's
it?
the man. But I guess we should have done it a little later because we missed the sweet restaurant. I would have loved to
Have to get back up there and do another one, right?
Yeah, Sweetwater, get us
Well,
back in
it isn't going anywhere. It's there waiting for you anytime. So, are there other band members? Are they as into beer as you are, and craft beer, or are they do they have other passions?
I think they're more into whiskey.
Whiskey? All
I
right.
can get on board with that.
I'm more the, I'm definitely, I feel like I've become the beer guy of the band. Just mainly because so many of my friends now are sort of in this beer world, and it's a very friendly world.
Yeah. And Tim, I think you actually live close to one of our finer beer bars in the area, right?
I do.
Up north of Atlanta.
If we're talking about Barley Garden,
Yeah.
that's a restaurant owned by our good friend Craig Torres, and he owns the Hop Cities. Very, very familiar. I didn't know till he told me this, but up in Alpharetta, you weren't able to open a bar unless you serve food.
Serve food, right?
As well, and so that's kind of what got him going on that whole thing. But Craig is absolutely the sort of guy that tied all of these things together, connecting us with Sweetwater to do that beer, and now with Creature Comfort. So I feel very fortunate to get to have access to
Craig's the
some
man. He's great.
Yeah.
He is.
He's been on twice with us.
I know we did a Belgian show with him,
beer
yeah.
show
Yep.
with him, and Craig said he's like, I love talking about beer. Give me a call anytime.
That's
I'd be
right.
glad to come back on. So,
It's easy for him.
yeah, so it was a good time.
So you mentioned that you have to maintain an ability to keep time with the drums and all that. So that means that the alcohol level is the main focus of what you drink. So you'd be open to stuff that more hops or
I
sweeter
like tasty
things or,
beers.
Yeah.
When we were down at Sweetwater, they had at that time the Summer Love Sour Mash. I was like cranking these things down. They were so delicious. I like a good sour. I just want to be able to not have that sugar headache that I get.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm open to beers, guys. Throw some
Just,
weird stuff
you know what?
at me.
We'll stay coherent, but we're gonna break out the bigger
Yeah,
guns
break out
as we
some
get
weird
in here.
stuff.
We'll see
Oh,
what
yeah.
we get into,
Oh, yeah.
man.
I love
So,
it.
Yeah.
All right, sounds good.
Now, we talked a little bit about the beer and band collabs, and Brian, you had mentioned you've been kind of following the beer and band collaboration soon, right?
I have, yeah. I've been doing it for a little while. At a certain point this summer, it kind of became a trend. Like, I started seeing one after another, week after week. The most recent one, Megadeth and Unibrew have gotten together on Saison 13. That's just coming out soon. I don't think it's even hit the market yet. Our buddies, the Nappy Roots, they're actually releasing, as we're talking, they're releasing a beer called Nappy Goat with Scofflaw. And, man, there's so many more. I think there's like 7 or 8 that I've just seen, just casually keeping track of them over like the course of 3 or 4 months. It's crazy, Tim.
Bands and beers, music and beer, man. What's not to love, right?
Goes together
It's a
so
good
well.
way to go. Absolutely. You're listening to the Beer Guys Radio Show. We're going to take us another break. We'll be back very soon with more from Tim Very of Manchester Orchestra.
Craft beer forged with a reverence for tradition and new styles that start a revolution. Ironmonger Brewing. The brewers at Ironmonger Brewing pride themselves at being masters of barrel-aged, hoppy, and sour beers. They invite you to their tap room in Marietta, Georgia to taste and see. Also visit their barrel room for an intimate drinking experience with great live entertainment. Keep up to date on all things Ironmonger by liking them on Facebook. Ironmonger Brewing, establishing a new standard in craft beer.
Brian and Tim, the Beer Guys. If you're like us, no lunch or dinner is complete without a pint or two of craft beer.
Which is why Truck and Tap in downtown Woodstock, Alpharetta, and Duluth are always on our list. Tim, why do they call it Truck and Tap?
Well, the tap part is easy, Brian. They've got 18 of them.
As for the truck part, that's where it gets interesting. Truck and Tap features your favorite Atlanta area food trucks, so you're getting a different menu every day.
Truck and Tap in downtown Woodstock, Alpharetta, and Duluth.
Truckandtap.com. Let them know that the Beer Guys sent you.
Is your brewery or restaurant flooring all jacked up? Your foundation needs to be protected from heat, chemicals, and other contaminants. At the same time, you want to make sure it's slip resistant and you can clean up your messes with soap and water. You know who to call?
Brzeska.
We've been manufacturing poured-in-place flooring since 2002, and we've got solutions to fit any facility's needs. Go on and visit our website at
Brzeska.net.
That's RES-TEK.net. Drop us a line and we will come to you for a free evaluation.
Oh, yeah. Follow the Beer Guys on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Roger, Roger. What's our vector, Victor?
Now, back to the Beer Guys Radio Show.
Welcome back to the Beer Guys Radio Show. I want to give a quick shout out to one of our great radio affiliates, WTKI 1450 AM and 92.9 FM in Huntsville, Alabama. Catch Beer Guys Radio on WTKI every Saturday at 1 p.m. local time. Now back to Drinking Beers with Tim Very from Manchester Orchestra.
Still drinking,
man. We're
That's right.
drinking an OG Manchester Orchestra collab,
Yeah,
right?
this thing's out of production.
Out of production,
Yeah.
vintage, classic. So, tell us about this one, man. How'd this one come to pass?
So this is with a great brewery called Young Veterans Brewing Company that we did. This is probably 3-4 years ago, easily now. So these cans are definitely kind of limited edition now. My father-in-law actually had a 6-pack of these that he kind of stowed away. I was like, I'm just gonna save these, and I just grabbed it.
Yeah, I'm gonna save these.
Sure, he's coming back.
Right.
He's coming back to a 5 of 6 rack. Yeah.
Who got in my beer?
Yeah, exactly. But it was really, really good, and I'm enjoying it right now. Actually,
Yeah,
It's pretty
absolutely.
good. This is kind of getting into your, little less lager, a little more hops, right?
There's a little more hops. You get kind of the aged hops flavor there. The little kind of little touch of oxidation, which is typical,
for a couple years.
It's a session pale ale, so you would expect some of that. Some of the caramel notes, a little dryness there. So
Ooh, I'm with professionals here.
That's right.
Yeah.
Was this your first beer collaboration, or was this one of
I
many?
don't think it was the first,
Really?
but it was definitely one of it's going back. So
many you've forgotten now.
Yeah, well, it is kind of they're starting to stack up, which is
cool.
Interesting.
That's
Oh,
good,
they
right?
might be tying with
But
Nappy Roots then, because they're
That's
always
it.
collabing
Nappy
too.
Roots
That's
has
a good point.
10 out now.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't
did
think
see
we're going
that.
to catch them.
Okay. Now, did we already talk about your upcoming collab? We've been talking,
haven't.
but we haven't talked about. So you did the one with Sweetwater in Hop City, and that one was that a charity beer for the Giving Kitchen, right?
Yes, indeed.
I tell you what, let's talk a touch about the Giving Kitchen.
Let's do that
to let people know about that awesome organization. Then we want to hear about your new collab coming up. So Giving Kitchen, Atlanta organization supporting people in the food service industry, right? Why'd you guys decide to partner with them for that?
So we've kind of been, tied into the Giving Kitchen for a few years now. It's a foundation that even my family is tied into. We just strongly believe in their stance on serving the service community, which is such a I don't know about you guys, but I enjoy the thriving food scene in Atlanta.
Absolutely.
And appreciate it, especially we travel so much. And I would put Atlanta's food scene up against almost any city out there. There's so many great places here. And so I just think it's such a great thing that they care about the people that are actually involved in these high-end, really, really great establishments. There's so many great restaurants here, and it takes a serious staff to really run an operation. I don't think people realize that.
I don't think they do either. No,
you go to a restaurant, let me get this, let me get that. You don't know who's back there, what they're going through, and so if someone breaks their leg and they're a fry cook, they're probably up the creek, and so Giving Kitchen comes along and will pay their hospital bills, things like that. It's just such a great organization.
A lot of the positions there, it's not a lot of money. There's not a lot of savings, and a lot of them, it's not just paycheck to paycheck, but day to day. You know, if you're not working, you're not getting your bills paid.
The tips they get that day are kind of what keeps the lights on. So it's tough.
It's a good organization. As we mentioned, Tim, we did an art auction. We had Catlanta, a popular local artist, commissioned a painting. We auctioned off the original and then sold some prints, and we raised right on $1,000 for Giving Kitchen last year.
Awesome.
So great organization.
We were so fortunate with Craig to be able to do the gold and to sell it out of the Barley Garden, and he would put it in his hop cities. And same thing, we were able to raise money to go towards the Giving Kitchen, and I want to say we raised somewhere close to $7,000 or $8,000 for that thing. So it was fantastic to be able to do something we love. Obviously, beer is such a fun thing, and it's cool to be able to drink, but then to also know that the profits and the whole event is actually going towards something that has an impact, and someone's bills are getting paid, someone's getting taken care of.
Because of your beer. People supported your beer and helping them out. That's pretty cool. That's awesome.
It's an easy way to support, too. All you got to do is go buy the beer
and
drink
a beer.
That's it. It's just
Enjoy
as simple
it.
as
Everybody
that.
wins.
Exactly, right? Everybody wins.
Yeah.
You've got another collaboration coming up, too, right?
We do.
Yeah.
We're fortunate enough to once again partner up with our good friend Craig Torres. He's so connected in these beer industries and with so many of these different breweries, and so this year we wanted to do something a little different than the last time. Last year was the gold, and so this year we're doing a collaboration with Creature Comforts, and we're also bringing in a Nashville brewery called Bearded Iris, and they're going to be involved in it as well. But we're going to brew this time and actually have it available on draft at the Stuffing this year, which is our annual festival that we put on. And this year, again, it's going to be at the Fox Theater, and so our beer will be on draft at the Fox this year.
Oh, that's awesome, because they usually don't have that many local beers there. That's great.
That's right. Yeah, it's going to be a totally new thing, and it just worked out perfectly that the Fox, they carry Savannah Brewing Company, I believe, is the distributor.
Savannah Distributing.
Yeah, so it just worked out perfectly. They work with Creature already. We're going to be in there, so
what
you'll be able to.
Craig Torres not do?
He's the man, right? He makes it not only fun and easy, but it just fast. He facilitates it all. So
now, Brian, correct me if I'm mistaken here, but isn't the founder of Bearded Iris? Didn't he get his start at Sweetwater?
I was thinking that exact same thing. So yes, it's very much tied here, and we get distribution of their stuff, and all of us have been fanboys for a while. Yeah. So yeah, we're
have you been to the brewery up in Nashville, to the tap room up there?
I haven't yet.
It's super cool, tap room, big open area, very nice stuff there, and Just really great beers, especially the IPAs, hoppy beers. Really,
sure.
Really
But
nice.
they do some of those
They
big
do some good
stouts that are
stouts,
decadent.
too.
Fantastic. You know, the stuffing, you mentioned that's a big thing for you guys every year. It's like, this is the 10th anniversary of it too, right?
Well, 10 or 11.
Yeah. I wasn't clear on that. I thought I saw 10, but I wasn't sure. I'm
Yeah,
like,
it's the 10th annual. I looked at the graph.
You're right. You're right.
All
You're
right.
right.
Is
You're
it-
there we go.
absolutely right.
I'm not going to contradict the guy
No,
that
I'm
actually puts it on.
horrible.
I mean,
Absolutely,
he knows.
it's the 10. It's the 10. I'm sorry.
So the beer's going to pour at the stuffing. Do you know what style the beer's going to be? Do you know the name of it maybe or anything like that?
I'm pushing for it to be another song name, just like the Gold. I'm hoping it's going to be called the Sunshine, and we're hoping to.
And it's a stout. No, that'd be.
It's actually going to be a Belgian wit, which is right up my alley. Which I feel like is sort of this perfect blend between what you call a drinking beer, you know, and then it's got a little difference, a little character to it, a little something, that isn't just like, oh, this is a lager, you know. And so he let me try. Craig actually, me and him sat down at Barley and tried out a couple different Belgian wits, and I was like, this is
hard at work there, right? Got to figure it out.
Oh, he knows his beer for sure. So
well, that's good. Now, is that going to be available anywhere else other than the Fox? Can
so it will be.
Get it?
Craig will have it available at the Hop Cities locations. You'll be able to come down on the 25th. And this is actually something to put out there on the 25th of November, which will be right before the stuffing. We're going to do an event at Craig's restaurant, Barley Garden, where it will be on tap.
Awesome.
And you can come down, get, buy a couple of them, support some really great charities, and also enjoy a really delicious beer. So
excellent.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that you tried a bunch of different Belgian wits. Do you happen to remember which was your favorite one?
Oof! Now
I know I put you on the spot.
Yeah, now you're pushing my beer knowledge right here. But
I'm always curious about these things.
And also tell us each malt and hop that
That's
was
right.
used.
Yeah, so we'll get all the ingredients. I'm sorry, I should have been.
Should have been prepared.
You have to prepare to be on this show. It's a test, and it's ongoing.
Yeah, and the Stuffing Festival. I saw Group Love is another band I really enjoy.
Good
They're
friends
be
of
there,
ours,
so.
and they are locked in for this year. So if you're listening, come to the stuffing this year. It's going to be one to remember for sure.
Sounds awesome. Absolutely. We're listening to the Beer Guys Radio Show. We need to take another break.
Awesome.
But we'll be back very soon with more with Tim Very of Manchester Orchestra.
As a brewery owner or taproom manager, are you looking for ways to enhance your customer experience while maximizing your revenues? Craft Cellar is a mobile solution that helps your brewery drive sales and attract new customers through online pre-sales for beer releases, events, and memberships. Get details now at craftcellar.com. Mention Beer Guys Radio after sign-up and extend your free trial to a full 30 days. Remember, craftcellar.com, craftcellr.com.
Follow the Beer Guys on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Boy, that escalated quickly. I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
Now, back to the Beer Guys Radio Show.
Welcome back to the Beer Guys Radio Show. If you enjoy the show, please consider supporting us on Patreon. Just go to patreon.com/beerguys. Patrons get cool perks like Beer Guys swag, commercial-free episodes, and even bonus episodes that aren't available anywhere else, Tim.
They do.
They
like
do.
this week, Brian.
Yes.
We put up a From the Cellar. We drank a beer. What beer did we drink?
I don't know. I bet you it was from 2014 or 2015. That's what I recall from
And I missed
We had
it.
a lot of those. Yeah, we had a lot of those. Was it the North Coast?
It probably was.
Was it the
Yeah.
Old Stock Cellar Reserve, right?
It was the rye. It was the rye barrel.
Now, it's all coming back to me now.
Yes, and that was the only time they released it, that 1 year. And I think it was either 14 or 15. You'll have to listen
It
to
was
find
delightful.
out.
Yeah, I'll have to listen to
Exactly.
remember when we get there. So.
But now, let's get back to drinking beers with Tim Very from Manchester Orchestra.
Still drinking.
So, Tim, you mentioned earlier that you like a wit beer, and you're doing one of those. So we broke one out here. We got a little Avery White Rascal.
Right in the zone.
It does. You know, you're still staying
Is there
there.
any more?
Well, you know what?
There's a little bit more,
There we
yeah.
go.
Let's get you
Yeah,
some.
hook it up.
Let's go.
Now, we're not going to let you get out here that easy, though. So we do have another one from Avery here, Bonbon Cerise, and it's clocking in at 14.6%.
Goodness.
So we'll crack that before we get done with everything here. And then another one of my favorite beers that I have, it's nice to have at the end of the evening, Fireball. Are you familiar with that, that beer?
It's an easy drinker. Yeah.
But about 1 pint is all I can drink of that. Then I'm done. So. But, Tim, we wanted to talk some about Manchester Orchestra, kind of what you guys are up to.
Yeah.
So we talked about the stuffing and everything going on, but I think you mentioned you guys are getting ready to head back to the studio and get to work on another album, right?
Yeah, it's crazy. I never realized that I would be this old and still be doing this,
Rock and roll, man.
Yeah, making records. I feel very fortunate. We're going back in to make our 6th or 7th album, depending on how you look at it. But we spent a lot of time writing, and going up to the cabin in Asheville and doing multiple rounds of writing up there, and I feel like we're sitting on some of our best stuff yet. So
is that the process for you? Because, Brian, I think we talked about this a little bit, kind of the similarities between like beer and music, recipe development.
Oh, ingredients.
Right?
Ingredients is really what it comes down to. For us, it's basically looking at each song individually and going, does this measure up? Is this album worthy? Does this deserve to be on a record? And I'm sure that if you're running a brewery or something like that, you're going through a similar process of process of elimination, right? Of, trying to weed out what's not great to get to that best product. And so for us, it's a circular thing of sitting down, writing a batch of stuff, and then listening to it, combing over it, and trying to eliminate what's bad about it, make it better, and refine it. And producers, people who know more than you, I'm sure in the beer world, it's the same thing, right? People who are experienced, have been there, been in the trenches. You need to get someone like that to come alongside with you. Fortunately for us this time around, we're going to have 2 of them, Ethan Brezeska and Katherine Marks, 2 just incredibly talented producers coming in on this record and just getting in there with us and really being honest, and pointing.
I'll tell you how it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, this bridge sucks. This just isn't there yet. That kind of stuff. And it can be brutal at times because you're putting your heart out there and it's a creative endeavor. So that's always a little bit of sensitive. This is what we made. You want everyone to love it. But at the same time, we want to put out the best product possible. We want to do the work and to make our fans and the people that respect our band and listen to it proud of us and happy and understand that we're working on as hard as we can on our end to make sure that this lives up to our standard. We can't control necessarily what the market thinks or whatever you want to call it.
Absolutely.
But we can know that we put our time and the work in to make the best product possible. And I really feel like we're on the right track this time around for that. So, we start second week of October recording up at the studio in Asheville. It's called Echo Mountain. It's a beautiful old church that's been renovated into a really, really nice studio, and we'll be up there for almost the entire month of October.
Okay.
Wow.
Making this thing.
Do you set a goal like when you go to record an album, or do you just do you play it until it comes together, or a combination of the two?
We set a goal amongst ourselves as a band when we're all looking at each other kind of nodding yes, listening to each song going, all right, that's there. That's a real song now. And I think we're getting close. We're close to that point now. Okay. So it'll be exciting to start making this thing. And it's always a weird, one thing leads to another, one thing unlocks another kind of experience. But I wouldn't trade it for anything. It's so exciting to be able to go make a record and to still be doing it at this point in our careers and to still have people care and to be able to plug into a really great studio and a really great system with great producers. It's the best.
Sounds pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Do you guys still write? Because I've noticed talking to other artists or even looking, it seems like the digital download, the single, is the thing now. Do you guys still write for the album?
That's us, 100%. Yeah. I think for us, the kind of band we are, we're the antithesis of that now, where we go for the entire record as a complete product and as a complete listening experience, I think that for us is the only way to go.
That's awesome because that's so rare to find nowadays. Usually it's just like 1 or 2 singles.
And there's a lot of bands doing that. And if that's the kind of thing you are, and I feel like maybe for newer groups these days, maybe that's just the way it works now. Maybe that's just what you have to do. But fortunately, we're almost like grandfathered in as a band that's been around.
Right on that cusp.
Yeah, we've been around a long time. And so we've built up at least the option to release a full body of work to our fan base and say, hey, what do you guys think? Do you like this whole thing?
Yeah.
As we're talking about this, I want a brewery to do an album, and I want them to give us like a 6 or a 12 pack of beer and say, you know what, you need to start with this beer, and then this is the next one you need to have because this is going to complement this on your palate and that. So I think that should be Manchester's next collab is a beer album.
You might be on something.
I'm trying to figure out how to fit that into like a CD case. I mean, that's going to be a little difficult.
Just pour it in there.
Vinyl.
That's right. Yeah,
vinyl.
There we go.
There you go.
Vinyl.
A-track.
It's got to be vinyl. So you're going on tour pretty soon too. You've got to go in the studio, but then following that, is it November? You guys are going back out and
Yeah,
tour?
we're doing a 10-year anniversary of the band's second record. It was called Mean Everything to Nothing, and that is a little bit of a mind trip in itself of like, man, we're going on a 10-year anniversary tour for the second record.
Crazy, right?
So, you guys can see the gray hair in my beard.
I was going to say, where does the time go? But yeah,
flu.
I know that feeling. I've got a fair amount of gray in my beard too, and I'm like, how did this happen?
Yes. Yeah. It really went by fast, but at the same time, the excitement for, I think that people know that this is a limited, we're only doing, I think it's, somewhere in the vicinity of 14 or 15 shows for this tour. It's a very limited edition kind of tour where you're only going to get to see us. We're going to play the entire record from front to back in its entirety. And so you're really only going to get a chance to see this if you come out to one of these shows one time, and that's it. Mean Everything to Nothing is definitely a big-time fan favorite for the band. There's a lot of people, I think, that would say, oh, that's one of my favorite Manchester records or whatever.
I've been to some concerts where the band did play the entire record from end to end, and I think it was John Henry for They Might Be Giants. And
They Might Be
I
Giants,
loved that.
yeah.
I thought that was fantastic, especially they went to the improvised stuff. Now, you have played at breweries in the past. Will you be playing at some more breweries along the way on this one?
Absolutely. I feel like that's becoming more and more of a standard mode of operation, too, as breweries and bands are really becoming, partners in this whole thing and learning how to reinforce each other, where good music, good beer, what better partnership and collaboration could there really be, So
sure.
Absolutely. Some of my favorite things.
Yeah.
And Tim, we're getting almost out of time here, but the Tim Very podcast.
Yes.
Fairly new venture for you, correct?
Definitely new, a whole new venture for me, but so fun and exciting to just talk to all sorts of creatives, people who are in or around the world that I operate in, and just to talk to people who have gone through life experiences and built up something from, for themselves from the ground up, be it restaurant owners, musicians, photographers, there's just all sorts of people who have really paid the price to kind of have a career and to build themselves up to something.
Awesome.
So, it's been great, and thank you for letting me plug that real quick.
Absolutely, man. Thank you so much for joining us. We didn't get to open it on the show, but when we get done, we're opening this Avery Bond Cerise.
Yeah.
We're going to get into it.
For sure.
Tim,
have me back sometime. I've had
we'll
such
do
a
it,
good
man.
time.
Yeah,
Anytime.
we'll definitely do
Yeah.
it. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tim.
All right.
We appreciate it.
Yeah.
So that about wraps it up for this episode of the Beer Guys Radio Show. Coming up next week, we're going to be talking with L. Smith Brewing. For more craft beer info, follow us online. We are Beer Guys Radio on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Thanks again for tuning in. Have a great week, and don't forget to drink local. Cheers.